back for another book review. Today we're talking about this one. So this is Bad Vibes Field Guide, a definitive handbook for psychics and the afflicted by Devin Hunter. Now to be honest, I feel a little like I maybe judged him a little bit harshly. The first book of his I read, I don't know if it was his first book, was like Modern Witch or something like that, and like it was more of the way the book was actually laid out that I just hated it so much that I just know, and I think it was pretty generic information anyways. This was a redemption read, and it's like, oh, maybe I can read more from you. Maybe it was just a bad book, which happens, because you know, I read so many and then you're like, oh my god, I'm never gonna pick up this author, and then once in a while, some of them have a good book. Caradwin Greenleaf, never, ever, ever. But like Jason Manke, I didn't like his for a while, and then I found some that I have, and like Nikki Vandekar. She also hit or miss. So I'm hoping maybe his books will get better. But yeah, so this is a new one. As you can see, the library has a little sticker and everything. It is a new book for this year. So as the title would suggest, this is about handling bad vibes. Anything from just kind of funk energy that you can get to like the evil eye, tiny bit. To be honest, I think you would still want to read the evil eye book that I talked about semi-recently. And then it also goes into like demons. Like it's got a little bit of everything. Poltergeists, like hauntings, residual hauntings. It's kind of got it all. It also talks about obviously some ways to deal with it, because that would be dumb to just tell you about it and then be like, this is bye. So he does actually explain some things to do. I gave it a 4 out of 5. Are they techniques I would personally use? Most likely not. Does it also mostly just come down to one of the key points that he talks about, which is the battle of wills? Yes. Like, pretty much all of them. He mentions it kind of later in the book, but yeah, it is just the, really magic is just the battle of the wills, because it's how much can you put force to change things the way you want them to be, versus either staying the same or working against you. If you are cleansing a space, you're removing things. You're trying to push your will of the other thing to get out. And that really is what the book mostly comes down to. Some of it's intentional, some of it's not. Some is from others, sometimes it's yourself. And it walks you through all of it pretty well. He's also pretty this sounds weird, like, but he feels chatty throughout it. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, to be honest. Like, again, it was a lovely palate cleanser after the Hawaiian book, where it's like, oh my god, look at you. It's awesome. And so, like, it's, I don't know, it's one of those things where sometimes you might not like that. You know, it's a lot of, like, I don't know, I call it the I statements, where the author is like specifically talking about themselves. I statements. I do this. I believe this. I had this happen. Me. Sometimes that takes too much out of the book and you're like, oh my god, I don't care. And then sometimes you're like, oh, this is kind of cool to learn about. Like, it's kind of interesting to hear another person's perspective. So keep that in mind. It does have a lot of those. And so again, I think that's one of the things, if you go to pick up this book, to keep in mind. It's a pretty casual read. Obviously he's talking about pretty heavy stuff, but again, in a pretty casual sense. It's not like so casual that it reads like a blog post. It's better than that, but it's still kind of casual. And some people really want the more academic, hard reading that's like so boring and dry. It is not that. But if you want that casual thing, I think you'd really enjoy this book. He is very casual, but in the best way possible. He's like one step below like the casualness of like being more casual than like Pensac or Blake, but only by like a smidge. He's like one below them. And honestly, I think a lot of the stuff in this book could be helpful. It's really, I think, a good resource to have if you're struggling with this. And he walks you through how to deal with it. So I would recommend this, obviously, if you're dealing with gunkety energy and you don't know how to deal with it. This gives you a lot of different ideas to try. There's a lot of journal prompts for you to like explore. And because of that, I think it's more for intermediate witches rather than beginners. Mostly because there's a lot of stuff he kind of explains, but kind of not. And again, it's one of those, you kind of need that foundational work before you jump into this. And it's not a bad thing to, again, have books that are not aimed at beginners. It's actually quite refreshing. And so I would say intermediate to advanced if you know, advanced obviously you could pick up whatever you want, but I think you want to at least have some experience in meditating, energy work, some basics in your, you know, correspondences and being able to detect and understand energy, to know intuition versus fear. Because there was like one part where he's like, well, just like know the sense of if there's another being with you in the room, and I'm like, this is not for a beginner. This is really not something a beginner would necessarily know how to detect. And also he does talk about a lot of things that it's really helpful, to be honest. Like if you are even still a beginner-ish witch, like probably not your first year, but you know, like this is one I had wished I would have had as a teenager when I was having things happen. Like the middle of the night, you're awake and then you look over at your piano where you have the paper, like print off paper of your sheet music, and it follows, like one page will, like, it literally is like someone like took the page and went blip, and then you watch it float to the ground and it waits till it hits the ground for the next one to fall. So not a breeze, you know, because that's not how that would work. Stuff like that. It's like, you know, teenage me would have loved to have this when I was going through that kind of crap and like living in a haunted house. But also, I think nowadays I would probably just really not care and just like, no, my house, get out. Like that thing where it's like the beginner witch who's like, I have the perfect incantation. I have researched all of the ingredients and I know how to perform it on the correct exact timing. And then you have the like more matured witch who's like with the pot and a spoon. Get the fuck out of my house! I am becoming option B. I started as option A. And I don't know that it happens to everyone, but I feel like it's more invigorating to hit level B where you're like, nah, just no. But again, it comes back to the thing he talked about of the pressure of wills. And to be honest, someone who does not give a fuck is going to have a great opportunity to be like, no. Feels like you're just like rolling with, what is it? Rolling advantage. Again, am I hyper obsessed with Baldur's Gate right now? Yes. So yeah, anyways, I would highly recommend this book if you are struggling with this. It's one that, like, honestly, it's not a bad one to have on the shelf in the event you need it. Anyways, thank you so much for coming along. If you want to support me on Patreon, I have extra books over there that I talk about, and also just more of my personal craft if you want to follow along for that chaos. It's not always pretty, it's not always easily explainable, things change and evolve, and I usually talk about it over there. So if you want to hang out over there, support what I'm doing. Also, if you want to get access to my audiobooks, they are free. I think Witchcraft should be accessible, and so my books are there for free if you want to listen to them over there. And until next time, thank you so much for coming along. Thank you for liking and subscribing and commenting, and I will see you all soon for another book.